functions. For stick welding you just flip the switch to the left and adjust the current on the knob. It goes up to 180 amps. I'm not really counting on doing any stick welding with this welder, but I decided to try it out anyway. This is 10mm steel plate and I'm using a 2.5mm electrode. It works very well. The electrode ignites easy without sticking and the welding arc is very stable. And now to TIG welding. You just flip the switch to the middle position and use the same knob to adjust the current. There's no gas valve in the machine. It's a manual operated valve on the TIG torch. You just connect it directly to the regulator on your shielding gas tank. The hose from the TIG torch fits into the hose that came with the machine, and then you just tighten it in place with one of the hose clamps. This works surprisingly well, it's not leaking. You always connect the TIG torch to the negative socket on the machine. I preset the gas flow on the tank regulator, and then I just use the valve on the TIG torch to shut the gas on and off before and after welding. I have a TIG welder with high frequency start, but this machine is with the lift TIG, which means that the tungsten electrode has to lightly touch the workpiece to ignite. That caused me some problems in the beginning. And I also tend to forget to turn on the gas before welding. But after a little bit of practice I got the hang of it. And I think it works quite alright. Of course it's way more convenient to use a dedicated TIG welder with high frequency start, where the electrode ignites and the gas comes on automatically when you push the button. But if you're only TIG welding occasionally, then I think this lift TIG system will be great for most people. Especially if the alternative is no TIG welder at all. And now let's try out some Mig welding. You just flip the switch to the right and adjust the voltage on the knob to the left. It can be adjusted between 15 and 23 volts. And the knob on the right is for controlling the wire feed speed. According to the manual, this can be set between 2.5 and 16 meters per minute. I find it interesting that the display shows the amps. The current will jump very much up and down while welding, so I don't think that one should put too much attention to the exact number, but only use it as a guideline for where you are in the wire feed speed setting. When pressing the red button, the wire feed motor will feed wire very fast. This is very convenient when changing the wire. And the cable on the front and the sockets are for changing the polarity depending on what kind of welding you're doing. The machine can take the small 100mm diameter rolls as well as the big 200mm diameter rolls. Here I'm installing a roll of flux cord wire for gasless welding. Here I'm welding two pieces of 10mm steel. It works pretty well, but I feel like it creates quite a lot of welding spatter compared to my old Biltema welder. Here I'm testing it on two small pieces of 25mm square tubing. And now let's try to weld some stainless steel. And here I'm welding two small pieces of 3mm stainless steel. For some reason I find it very hard to make nice welds in stainless steel with this machine. And it creates way more welding spatter than I would expect. Maybe it's something with the inductance setting, but unfortunately it's not possible to adjust that on this machine. It could also be that I just need to spend more time to find the correct settings. Only time will tell. Now I have replaced the stainless steel wire with an aluminium wire. This is 5mm thickness. It actually turns out that this machine is great for aluminium, which is great because that was exactly what I bought it for. The problem is there's a lot of resistance in the wire liner to the MIG gun. At first I tried with some 1mm aluminium wire, but it kept bird nesting in the machine. But it's possible to weld with a 0.8mm wire. But even with this thin wire it still makes problems. And it's very frustrating and time consuming to have to sort that out all the time. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna replace the wire liner with one made of Teflon. I got one already. I'll do this in another video. And maybe I'll try to connect a spool gun to this machine and see how that works. I'll probably make a video about that also, if I succeed. So here we are with some of the welds I did while testing this machine. As mentioned earlier, I think it's very good for welding aluminium, when not struggling with the wire feed, of course. But I struggle a lot to get the settings right for the stainless steel welding. But it is definitely possible to make welds in stainless steel with this machine. I think it's great for TIG welding, despite the inconvenience of the lift TIG system. And it's great for stick welding, no doubt about that. It's good for welding with flux cord wire. Well, these are maybe not the best welds, but I guess you'll get the idea. But I still think the machine creates quite a lot of welding spatter, especially if I compare it to my old trusty Biltema MIG welder that I reviewed in a previous video. So why did I buy this machine when I have a MIG welder already? Well, I wanted a welder dedicated to aluminium, so I don't need to change the wire. And this one is blue and it fits nicely onto my welding trolley. So, final thoughts. Can I recommend this welder? Yes, I certainly can. I think you get a very good machine for a low price. I'm really looking forward to play around with this welder and get to know it better. And even though I'm struggling a little bit with the settings for welding stainless steel and with the flux cord wire right now, I think it's just a matter of getting to know the machine. I'm really looking forward to see how this machine will be for aluminium welding after I have replaced the wire liner. I hope you enjoyed this video and found at least some of the information useful.